what I am driving here is the definition of mediocre. It's not bad, it's not terrible, it's the Penumbra, which is why I was skeptical yet slightly optimistic when they announced that they made a new one. And this is it. It's called the FF. And while sure it looks like it's from the early 2000s, this is a complete redesign of the Penumbra from the ground up. The body is reworked for less drag, the engine is reworked for more power, and then there's a bit tricky technology thrown in just for good measure. And all of that means it's a lot more expensive. But it also means it's a lot faster, so let's see just how fast. Oh, okay. Alright, that's better, that's better. 0 to 60 under 5 seconds, that's pretty good. The old one was maybe 6 if we're lucky. Ooh, I like that. That has good handling, and there's a good reason why. They completely redid the suspension, they redid the tires, so it has all new tires, all new rims, all new suspension, shocks, whatever. And critically, it has all-wheel drive, baby. All-wheel drive traction, which means on the exit of corners, and even through corners, you can just chuck it through. It just doesn't care about them. It doesn't have the power to get oversteer, it doesn't have the power to really scare you around these corners. It is just the right amount of power, just the right amount of handling to be right around the corners. And I say it has just enough power. It is quick. It's not a high tier. It's not going to be an Italian GTO, for instance. But for a modicum improvement, this thing is absolutely fantastic. But let's see if I can unstick this much more handling-focused Penumbra. This is a fantastic car. It's a car that I think we're sorely missing. Most sports cars these days just focus on pure raw power and performance and statistics. And that's all great, having a blisteringly fast car, make no mistake. I think everyone in this channel can appreciate the value and fun of just raw power and on the knife's edge driving style, but this is a bit more relaxing. You have the confidence to chuck it around, you have the confidence to go through the corners, and sure, it doesn't have a lot of power, and sure, it's a bit heavier than other vehicles, but it's that fun-to-drive factor that I think has been sorely missing from other sports cars, and this vehicle has it. The fun-to-drive factor. The ability to chuck it in almost like a go-kart to these corners, carry the corner speed, and just have a good time, while also being able to go around sideways and smiling. This vehicle is exactly what the old FF was designed to do in the early 2000s. It didn't have the power of the other sports cars, it did not have the acceleration or the torque, and while sure it was a bit difficult to drive on the fun side, it was very good handling, and this is that in spades. But not only does it have more power to have more fun, it's more comfortable, it's more environmentally friendly, it's all in all better in every way. It's not trying to best other sports cars, it's trying to best itself, and that's really the most important thing a sports car can do. And that's not all about the Penumbra. As great as these cars were, they were still mediocre. As I said at the beginning, they were average at best. So, what made them special? Well, way back in the early 2000s, Japan had just started to export vehicles to the US, and not just vehicles, but parts. Beginning the rise of the JDM era, where modifications went crazy, paint schemes were epic, every car was customized to your own personal taste. It was a brilliant brilliant time for a Japanese car enthusiast, and the Penumbra rode that wave beautifully. The car looked fantastic with all the visual mods you could put on it that you could imagine. And this new one, well, we'll have to see, hopefully, how the tuning community accepts this new ride.